The first time I saw Adrian, it felt like the world stopped. He was the new kid, leaning against a locker, a sketchbook in his hand, his dark hair falling over his eyes. In our small town, a new face was a seismic event, but Adrian felt different. He was a mystery, and I was determined to solve it. My name is Lila. I was 17, and my life was about to change forever. It started with a note. Tucked into my history textbook was a small, folded piece of paper. On it, a perfectly drawn doodle of a star, and underneath, just 3 words: "You shine brighter." I looked up, and across the crowded hallway, Adrian met my eyes and gave me a small, almost imperceptible nod. My heart did a flip. How did he know that was exactly what I needed to hear that day? From then on, our story unfolded in whispers and secrets. We'd talk for hours on the phone, our voices low so my parents wouldn't hear. He'd tell me about his dreams of being an artist in a big city, and I'd confess my fears of being stuck in our town forever. He understood me. He saw the parts of me I kept hidden from everyone else, the parts I was scared to even admit to myself. He didn't just listen. He heard the unspoken words between my sentences. The notes kept coming. One day it would be a quote from my favorite poet left on my car windshield. The next, a sketch of the constellation Orion, which I'd told him I loved, taped to my locker. It felt like magic, like fate. When I was having a bad day, he'd suddenly appear with my favorite coffee just because he had a feeling. My friends would tease me, saying he was too good to be true. I just smiled. They didn't get it. Adrian and I had a connection that was beyond explanation. It was perfect, maybe a little too perfect. But I pushed those doubts away. With him, I felt seen. I felt brave. He encouraged me to join the school's art club, something I'd been too shy to do before. He'd look at my clumsy sketches and see potential, not mistakes. "You have a world inside you, Lila," he'd say, his voice a warm comfort. "Don't be afraid to show it." Because of him, I started to believe it. Prom night was supposed to be our night, the culmination of our storybook romance. Adrian looked incredible in his suit, and when he pinned the corsage on my wrist, his hand lingered, sending shivers down my arm. The theme was A Night Under the Stars, and as we danced, the gym transformed into a galaxy of twinkling lights. He held me close, and I whispered, "I wish this night could last forever." He pulled back, his expression suddenly serious. "It can't, Lila," he said softly. "But that's what makes it beautiful." Later that evening, I went to find him. He'd said he had one last surprise for me, and told me to meet him in the art room. My heart pounded with anticipation. I imagined another note, another perfect gesture. I pushed open the door, but the room was empty. It was quiet, except for the faint sound of music from the gym. On the main easel, where a canvas should have been, was a large, ornate wooden box. My box. My blood ran cold. It was a memory box I'd had since I was a little girl, where I kept my most private thoughts. I'd write letters to an imaginary friend, to my future self, to anyone who might understand. I kept it hidden deep in my closet. No one, not even my parents, knew about it. How did Adrian get it? I walked towards it, my legs feeling like lead. There was a single envelope on top, addressed to me. My name was written in a familiar, elegant script. With trembling hands, I opened it. Inside wasn't a note from Adrian. It was a letter. And as I read the first line, the world I had built with him shattered into a million pieces. The handwriting wasn't his. It was mine. "Dear Lila," it began. "If you're reading this, it means you're ready. Ready to see the truth." I sank to the floor, the letter shaking in my hand. I frantically opened the box, my hands pulling out dozens, maybe hundreds of notes, sketches, and letters. The note that said, "You shine brighter." The drawing of Orion. The quote from my favorite poet. All of them. They were all in my handwriting. Every single one. Adrian was never real. He was him. The imaginary friend I'd been writing to since I was a child. The one I'd poured all my hopes, fears, and loneliness into. My mind, desperate for a connection, for someone to see me, had taken him from the pages of my diary and brought him to life. He knew what I was thinking because he was my thoughts. He showed up at the right time because my subconscious knew I needed him. He was the perfect boyfriend because I had created him to be. Tears streamed down my face as I read the final letter, the one I had just opened. I know this hurts, I had written to myself. But I was never meant to stay. My only purpose was to show you the strength you already had. The bravery to join the art club? That was you. The kindness you saw in me? That was your own heart. I was just a mirror, Lila, reflecting the amazing person you were becoming. The letter continued. You don't need me anymore. You've learned to love yourself. You've found your voice. The dreams we shared, the dream of leaving this town and seeing the world, that wasn't our dream. It was always yours. Now you have to go live it. You have to choose reality, even when it's scary. You have to let me go. The final words on the page were a gut punch. Thank you for creating me. Now it's time to create your own life. Goodbye, Lila. I love you. I sat there on the cold floor of the art room for what felt like an eternity, the pieces of my manufactured love story scattered around me. It was the most profound heartbreak I had ever felt, a grief for someone who never existed. But through the tears, something else began to surface. A flicker of understanding, a sense of awe at the power of my own mind to protect itself, to heal. Adrian was gone. The boy I loved was an illusion. But the love? That was real. The strength he gave me? That was mine all along. He was the most beautiful lie I ever told myself. The lie that taught me how to find the truth. Letting him go was the hardest thing I'd ever have to do, but as I walked out of that art room, leaving the box behind, I wasn't walking away from love. I was walking towards myself. My real story was just beginning. Thank you so much for watching. If this story touched you, please give it a like, and consider subscribing for more tales from the heart. See you next time.